Hey, welcome in. Well, I can tell you one thing. A brain-eating amoeba is not how I want to check out, okay? My hope is to be hit by a meteorite, because it's fast, it's over, you don't know what hit you, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, I guess, a brain-eating amoeba is kind of interesting too, but it's also agonizing and horrible and horrific. So I'm going to choose the meteorite every time. But anyway, here's the story. Brain-eating amoeba moving across North America, and climate change may be why. Now, with these sorts of headlines and these sorts of stories, you always have to be careful with the language. Climate change may be why. There's a lot of may and possibly in this article. The brain-eating amoeba, God, that sounds awful, Naegleria fowleri, is moving further into the U.S. with a statistically significant northward trend observed since 2010. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says this shift may be the result of climate change, with warmer temperatures potentially facilitating its spread into areas that have otherwise been unfavorable to the organism. And again, you have to make sure you pay attention to the language here. It may be the result, with warmer temperatures potentially facilitating its spread. So what they're saying there is that they don't know, right? But it's possible. It's maybe plausible. But anyway, let's keep going. It's a single-celled organism often found in warm freshwater systems such as lakes and rivers, as well as soil. It causes primary amoebic, oh boy, this is a long word, meningoencephalitis, a central nervous system disease that leads to inflammation and destruction of the brain. Almost all cases are fatal, with just 5 known survivors across North America. That doesn't sound promising. Now, I can tell you, I spent a lot of years trying to destroy my brain, and I would really hate for a brain-eating amoeba to finish the job. That doesn't sound like a good way to go. And if I can't have the meteorite exit, maybe secondly, I'd take struck by lightning. I'm definitely taking struck by lightning over brain-eating amoeba. And it turns out here that the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality is currently carrying out a major disinfectant program after N. fowleri was found in the water supply of the city of Lake Jackson. So this was in a city's water supply. So that's a scary thing. Initially, state officials issued a do not use water advisory to 8 cities, but the warning was later lifted for all but Lake Jackson. It is thought the entire decontamination process could take months. So if you're in Lake Jackson, don't drink the water. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. Let's see. And apparently they don't know how or when the amoeba got into, the brain-eating amoeba, got into the city's water supply. It's found naturally in water and soil and can gain entry into a municipal system when there is a disruption in the distribution system, such as when a pipe breaks. So a broken pipe can let the brain-eating amoeba in. But, and this is a glass half full or glass half empty thing here, it cannot infect a person through drinking water. So you're not going to get it through drinking. Instead, the amoeba enters the brain. Ugh, doesn't that sound awful? Instead, the amoeba enters the brain. These are words that you don't ever want associated with you. The amoeba entered your brain when contaminated water goes up the nasal passage. So you don't get it from drinking, but if water goes up your nose, it's very, very, very unlikely that there's ever going to be a brain-eating amoeba in water going up your nose, but that's how it gets in. Initial symptoms include severe headache, nausea, and vomiting. Well, I haven't had any of those this morning, so maybe I'm okay. As the disease progresses, people start suffering from a stiff neck, seizures, and coma. Well, as far as I know, I don't have any of those either this morning. So again, good news. The average sufferer dies around 5 days after infection. So that's not very long, and it sounds like you suffer a lot in those 5 days. This sounds really, really terrible. Anyway, it continues. While very rare, it is thought some cases are missed as symptoms are similar to bacterial meningitis. And I don't think that's much better. It's not like, hey, good news, it's just bacterial meningitis. But anyway, 3/4 of cases are only diagnosed after death, because this thing works pretty fast, 5 days. It says, while official records show there have never been more than 8 deaths from N. fowleri per year in the U.S., a CDC report suggests the actual figure is closer to 16 per year, which is still insanely rare. The thing is, as humans, we're not very good with gigantic numbers like, 340 million, right? We're much better with 16. That's something we can understand. You can't really understand, 300 million people. It's just hard to fit all those people in your head. You can't really do it. But 16 out of all the people in the U.S. is very, very rare, and in fact, not something that you really need to worry about. However, it says here that most cases are in children and young men, as they are most likely to take part in water sports and be jumping in lakes and that sort of thing. It says each year, hundreds of millions of visits to swimming venues occur in the U.S. that result in just a handful of infections every year. And our data show that the number of cases have been stable over time with no detected increases. And as they say here, it is heading north, but with no detected increases. So anyway, I think that's about all I really want to learn about brain-eating amoebas today. I think I'm good. I hope you are as well. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. If you just want to listen, there's Radio Baloney, the podcast. It's on basically every platform, including iTunes. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.